Hey guys, me host Superstar, thank you very much for tuning in. So today I want to make a different video for you guys. This is going to be my top 10 tips for those of you that are just starting out collecting, so you don't make the same mistakes that I've made over the years, because I've made quite a few. So let's go down my top 10 list of new things that you guys as new collectors might want to be aware of. So, always make sure before you part with your older figures that you're very sure that you're willing to get rid of these. So many people will grab their older figures, put them in a pile, take a photo and add them to the groups and be like, yep, selling these, anyone want them? People buy them, and then a week later I see people putting up the same post saying, I really missed that figure, can anyone sell me it? Always be sure you're ready to part with your figures before you do. That's my number one rule on this one. Please make sure you are definitely ready to part with your amazing figures. Your older figures are going to be the ones that you're going to miss, and they're going to be harder to find later down the line. So always be absolutely sure that you're ready to part with a figure before putting it up for sale, and that you're not just going to want it again a week later. Oh yeah, I'm looking at you guys on the groups because I see it all the time. And sometimes I get it, necessity means we have to part with certain things. But if you just end up buying them later, maybe it's time to look for new ways of making some quick cash. Stacker boxes. If you're like me and you use stacker boxes to store your figures, then please always make sure that there's not a lot of weight in there. I've made this mistake on more than one occasion, and I'm still making it to this day. If you put all your figures in these boxes just like this, you're going to find that the ones that are at the very bottom are going to warp so quickly and easily. Those legs are going to be so out of shape, and there's going to be so many knee injuries. So just make sure, if you've got some of these smaller Marvel Legends female figures, make sure they're at the top so that they're not getting squished down below. Leave the big boys like Thanos at the bottom of the pile. He can take it. But yeah, always make sure, guys, that you look after your figures. I'm a sod for it. I put them in stacker boxes like this just because I have so many at this point. But it can actually damage your figures, so be careful. Tip number 3, always make sure you warm up your figures prior to moving the joints, especially on new figures. Some of these newer figures they get seized in the packaging, or they seem to be very brittle. So sometimes it's worth just giving them a little warm up. So sometimes I either use the heat from just a hot tap. Sometimes if you just get your hot tap quite warm and then just put the figure under it for a few seconds, it can really loosen the joints. Or alternatively, a hairdryer set to high is the most method I found the best, is the hairdryer. I use the hairdryer quite regularly, as you've seen in some of my videos when I made my custom Harley Quinn. It was quite easy. All you do is set that to high and just hold it near the figure and keep rotating the figure. Don't hold it in one spot or you might get some warping, some plastic melting issues. But if you just slowly turn the figure whilst you're doing it, you should be absolutely fine. I've never damaged a figure doing that, and it's my tip to make sure you don't snap any figures. You've seen in my videos over the years, sometimes I've messed with a figure a bit too soon, or I've tried to bend a joint that wasn't moving, and I've managed to break the entire figure. So it's worth just heating them up rather than trying to bend them into place. Tip number 4, don't always join the hype train. When those pre-orders come up for sale, sometimes we jump on them really fast and go, yeah, just to be a part of the deal. But guess what? Some of these figures aren't always the best, and sometimes we end up regretting the figures we pre-order. I know I've done it so many times with like the Stiltman wave and things like that recently. I only really wanted Spider-Gwen, but I bought an entire wave that I didn't even want, ended up selling them on. Just make sure you're happy with the pre-orders that you're placing, and make sure that you do keep track of your pre-orders. I've had it so many times where random bills have popped through and I'm like, damn, and I'm not expecting them. I now keep a calendar with the estimated times of arrivals for them, because people like ID Toys and Comics and Cocktails that I use regularly will put an ETA of, say, like June or July. So I can plan it in to my calendar, say June, and then at least I have an inkling as to when that bill's going to be due, so I can keep track on how much I'm spending per month. So that's another pro tip. A lot of people say to me, how on earth do you manage to afford everything? You must be a millionaire. You must get paid a lot by YouTube. You must have a really good job. No, I have a regular job just like you guys. I work part-time. I don't even have a full-time job. I do 3 12-hour shifts, so I don't actually do full-time hours. But I'm still able to get all my pre-orders in because I pre-order. And I buy sometimes it is cheaper if you're going to buy, say, 3 out of 6 of the figures from a wave. Sometimes it's worth buying the wave and getting the bath figure and then selling them on to fellow collectors at reasonable prices. Sometimes that does work out cheaper, and as well, wait till things go on sale, wait till things go on deals. Don't always jump for things straight away. Sometimes take a step back because those figures may be on sale in a few weeks. That's how I've managed to get, the stack of figures that I have done. Some of my, all my hard to find figures and grails have actually come from the community itself, which brings me on to the next tip. There are so many wonderful groups out there like Marvel Legends Community UK. You guys are some of the reason that I own a lot of the figures that I own today, and I wouldn't own them without you guys. So I've just got to say a big thank you to all you awesome people in the community, because without the community, I don't think I'd have half the figures I have today. Figures like my Marvel Legends Warpath and my hard to find figures from DC and stuff have all come from the community itself. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for being awesome and being so welcoming in that community. And if you're new, guys, and you need to join some communities, get on Facebook. Start looking up your favourite figures. Like, you've got Marvel Legends Community UK. There's Power Rangers Community UK. There's so many groups out there. DC Multiverse Figures groups. Action Figure Collectors UK. Action Figure Trading Collectors UK. Action Figure Showroom UK. There's so many of us out there. We all have different groups, but we all get on. We've got an amazing community in the UK. We offer action figures. And yeah, sometimes it does get a bit weird and we do get some, odd drama going on and things like that. And you have to take a step back and think, we talking about children's toys here, yeah? But it soon passes, and most of the time we're all friends. But yes, guys, please make sure you check out the communities on Facebook, because it is a great, valuable resource of information for helping you find older figures and for helping you track down some figures sometimes. These guys are aware of stores that I've never even heard of. And so I found so many online retailers because of these people. So check out your local communities on Facebook. We have so many awesome figures to display that sometimes we run out of room and we start inventing new places to put them, like windowsills. Don't put figures on windowsills or in direct sunlight. That is the most guaranteed way to warp a figure. Direct sunlight will heat up the plastic, cause the figure to change and mold and melt, and it will cause problems down the line. I've had it happen to me many a times when I've left figures in direct sunlight or in heat sources. So as well, when you're thinking about placing figures, please make sure you're aware of heat sources, like where are the radiators in the room, things like that, because the radiators will get really warm and it will cause a figure to warp. I've had it happen to me. So just bear that in mind. Heat sources and plastic never go together. So, final tip for today, and it's a bit of a biggie. If the deal is too good to be true and you're on a group or a forum or on eBay, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Sadly, we are talking about toys, and there are even scalpers in our communities as well. Scalpers, thieves, degenerates, they're all out there prying on collectors like me and you. So please make sure you cover yourself by using PayPal goods and services or some form of means where you're going to be protecting yourself, because you never know when the nicest guy in the world might suddenly stop talking to you, or might suddenly decide, I'm just not doing this anymore, and just never send your figure. So you need to get that money back somehow. PayPal is the great way of protecting you. So please do use goods and services. People who do, I've been a bugger for it over the years, and I've said, can we cover fees and things like that? Just cover them. It's not much. It's less than £1 usually. But that little bit of fees covers you in case anything happens, and PayPal will get involved. And they are very good in the resolution center. I've dealt with them on a couple of times now over the years, and I've had good positive experiences every time. So guys, just for that extra little bit of cash, make sure you cover yourself with PayPal goods and services. I can't say it enough. As much as there are wonderful people out there that will help you, there are the bad eggs as well. So please do cover yourselves. A lot of the times I do also hear people say, what should I collect? Should I go for Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, X-Men? What should I collect? Don't ask other people. You can't really ask other people this question. This is down to you and you alone. What do you want to collect? It's not about collecting for money. It's about collecting for pure enjoyment. Don't forget that. A lot of people get hyped up on this whole thing of they're going to be millionaires in the future. Don't do it. It's very unlikely going to happen. There are only very few figures which are actually end up being worth something. And 9 times out of 10, these days, Hasbro will go create a new figure, completely destroying the value of the original one you've got and you spent a lot of money on. Rogue, we're looking at you, babe. But yes, but make sure you're collecting for the right reasons. And you're collecting the right lines for the right reasons. Someone like me, I'm a big fan of the 90s and 80s. So as you can tell from looking around my room, I have lots of influences there. I've got Star Wars, I've got Marvel, I've got Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even horror. Those reflect my interests. Those may not interest you. So therefore, you don't have to collect those things. You collect what speaks to you and you alone. Don't worry about what the rest of the tribe think, what the rest of the herd might think of you. It's not about that. We have no egos in this community. Just make sure you're collecting the figures that you enjoy collecting. That is my number one rule that I want to share with you guys. Because I hear it so many times when people say to me, should I buy this figure? And it's a really hard question to answer because only you can make that decision. With that, guys, I think that's enough tips for right now for all you new collectors. Let's head on back to the main cam and finish off the vid. So guys, I hope that was useful. A top 10 tips for all new collectors out there. Just some feedback from me and my thoughts and the mistakes I've made over the years. You don't have to make them because I've already made them. But guys, what are your thoughts on the videos like this? Would you like to see more tips and tricks from me in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. What figure are you most excited to see me review next? Let us know in the comments below. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.